Okay, I want you to picture this. You've reached 80 years old, and you get exactly 1 minute to watch a highlight reel of your entire life. What do you see? But actually, more importantly, what's missing? The trips you delayed, the chances you didn't take, maybe the version of you that never quite showed up because, well, comfort just kept winning out. It's kind of a terrifying thought, right? Our time is strictly finite, and wondering what regrets we might have about the paths we didn't take is just a deeply universal human anxiety.
But let's completely flip the script for a second. Contrast that deeply personal, human-scale anxiety with the absolute cosmic scale. World-renowned physicist Dr. Michio Kaku has spent 71 years, which is almost that entire 80-year human lifespan we just talked about, searching for an equation perhaps no more than 1 inch long that will allow us to literally read the mind of God. He's talking about the theory of everything, a single elegant concept that explains our entire 14 billion-year-old universe, from the Big Bang to the stars, right down to the actual atoms in your body.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today: the human clock, the theory of everything, the bubble bath multiverse, robotic aliens, the quantum AI future, and finally, creating cosmic meaning.
Section 1. The human clock.
Let's start with that finite biological clock we all share. Inside your cells, right now, are these things called telomeres. And every single time a cell reproduces, they get a tiny bit shorter. They act as this biological countdown that usually gives us, on average, about 80 trips around the sun. Now, what's incredible is that a renowned 80-year-long Harvard study focused entirely on human happiness, tracking lives all the way from 1938 onward. And what they found was absolutely profound. Our human clock is best spent investing in close relationships. In fact, what's genuinely shocking is that the psychiatrist directing the study noted that loneliness literally kills. It is as deadly as smoking or alcoholism. Despite all our modern bells and whistles, interpersonal connection is still the absolutely critical foundation of a life well lived.
So how do we actually avoid these regrets? Well, it comes down to really intentional choices. First, nurture those core relationships. Find the people who are willing to evolve with you. Second, broaden your environment. If you never leave your hometown, that tiny space literally becomes your entire universe. Third, prioritize preventative health. Initiating varied fitness routines early on, like, say, mixing heavy lifting with yoga, is basically communicating with your future self, saying, "Hey, I see you." And finally, express yourself creatively. Gamble on your gut instincts. Whether it's writing or painting, not chasing those urges means you aren't sharing your unique voice with the world.
Section 2. The theory of everything.
All right, now let's dramatically shift the scale from our daily human habits to the fundamental building blocks of reality itself. For decades, the missing piece of physics has been a way to unite all the forces: gravity, electromagnetism, and the nuclear forces. Dr. Michio Kaku is a pioneer of string theory. It says that if you zoom in close enough, subatomic particles aren't tiny dots. Actually, scratch that, they aren't dots at all. They are microscopically vibrating strings. Everything from chemistry to biology to our own human bodies stems from these tiny, one-dimensional vibrations.
And this brilliantly illustrates a massive paradigm shift. We used to view electrons and protons as these isolated static point particles, but now, the universe is more like a grand cosmic symphony. A string vibrating one way is an electron, vibrating another way, it's a proton. Mother Nature isn't out there maliciously creating hundreds of random particles just to confuse us, it's just one type of string playing different notes. Even dark matter, that invisible stuff completely surrounding the Milky Way, is likely just a higher, invisible octave of these vibrating strings that our instruments just can't quite see yet.
Section 3. The bubble bath multiverse. Let's zoom out even further. If everything is made of vibrating strings, where did all those strings come from in the first place? We know the Big Bang happened roughly 14 billion years ago, and we know this because we can literally see the universe expanding. Think of our universe like an inflating balloon with dots drawn on it. As the balloon blows up, all the dots move away from each other. But this begs a really massive question. What was there to actually bang?
This builds into an absolutely mind-blowing concept. Dr. Kaku explains that even pure nothingness in empty space is frothing with activity. String theory suggests we live in an 11-dimensional hyperspace, and in this space, our universe is just one expanding soap bubble that popped into existence and just kept growing. And there are other bubbles out there. We coexist in a cosmic bubble bath of parallel universes. Just think about that. Our entire 14 billion-year-old reality is just one single bubble, floating in this incredibly vast, multi-dimensional bath.
Section 4. Robotic aliens.
So if we're just sitting on the skin of one bubble in a cosmic bath, we have to ask the natural next question. In a galaxy with 100 billion stars, are we the only life forms hanging out in here? Dr. Kaku points out that it would take our absolute fastest Saturn V rockets 70,000 years to reach the nearest star. So any civilization capable of visiting us would need to literally bend space itself to travel faster than light. Because of the crushing physical forces involved in that kind of maneuver, it's like zigzagging at warp speed or dropping from 70,000 feet into the ocean instantly. Visiting aliens just wouldn't be biological.
They're not going to step out of a saucer and shake our hands. They would be highly advanced robotic machines.
With realities like 11 dimensions, multiverse bubble baths, and robotic alien intelligence, it really makes you wonder about the very nature of reality itself, doesn't it? Are these advanced life forms, or maybe, I don't know, even our own future selves, running us in a simulated reality? Are we just living in a simulation?
Well, so the crucial point is why physicists generally reject the simulation theory. The simulation idea basically relies on the universe being a puppet show with a pre-written script. But quantum theory tells us the universe is based entirely on unpredictable probabilities, not a script. Now, while we aren't in some computer simulation, Kaku points out we do technically live in an illusion. Our human senses only show us a teeny tiny fraction of true reality. I mean, we can't see infrared, ultraviolet, or dark matter. Evolution only gave us the exact senses we needed to survive the jungle, not to see the full, mind-bending spectrum of reality.
Section 5. The Quantum AI Future.
Okay, let's bring the scale back down to Earth's near future. We've talked about human biology and huge cosmic bubbles, but what about the rapidly approaching technological threats right here at home? To demystify this technological leap, just look at the core units here. Digital computers run on simple binary transistors, basic switches of 0 or 1. But quantum computers, they run on actual atoms, computing across an infinite number of states simultaneously. And this isn't science fiction, it's happening. It creates world-altering power so great that governments and intelligence agencies are genuinely worried these machines could eventually crack any digital code on Earth, from your private bank account to Bitcoin.
And that massive computing power is pouring gasoline on artificial intelligence. Tracing Dr. Kaku's trajectory for AI, we see this fascinating, if kinda scary evolution. Right now, our robots roughly have the intelligence of a bug. But over the coming decades, they are going to evolve. From a bug, to a mouse, to a dog, to a monkey. And at that point, they become self-aware and potentially dangerous. So, what is humanity's ultimate survival strategy? According to Kaku, we won't fight them. We will likely need to literally merge physically with these robotic systems, enhancing our own biological brains to become superhuman just so we aren't left behind in the dust.
Section 6. Creating Cosmic Meaning.
Okay, we have journeyed from vibrating strings to parallel universes to a wild cyborg future. How do we synthesize all these huge cosmic concepts back into our daily lives? Well, physics shows we are an insignificant dot on the Milky Way floating in a multidimensional bubble bath. The universe, objectively speaking, has no intrinsic meaning. It just is. But humans, we are unique. Unlike animals who pretty much only care about their next meal, our frontal cortex acts as a time machine. We are biologically wired to obsess over the future. And because we have that incredible, unique ability, we have the power to consciously choose to take risks, step out of our little bubbles, and forge those core connections that make our fleeting 80 years worthwhile.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this beautiful realization. After spending 71 years trying to mathematically read the mind of God, Dr. Kaku concludes, I'm not even sure if the universe has a point, but my personal attitude is we create our own point. We create our own world and meaning within that world. In a completely indifferent, random universe, our human connections, our creative leaps, and our personal choices are literally the only true sources of meaning we have. Which brings us right back to exactly where we started. You are a biological organism living on a single cosmic bubble, equipped with a brain that can ponder infinity, but a body that only gets about 80 trips around the sun. Knowing how absolutely vast the universe is, and how incredibly fleeting your time here is, how are you going to fill the blank spaces of your personal highlight reel? Don't let comfort win. Go out there and create your meaning. Thanks so much for joining this explainer today, and stay curious.